Welcome to Getting Aligned, a human design podcast where we dive into the endless journey of self-discovery using human design. This podcast is created for individuals who want to know how human design can assist them on the road towards self-awareness, healing, and personal growth by uncovering the unique blueprint that shapes each of us. From practical insights to profound revelations, Getting Aligned will be your companion on this transformative journey as we collectively step into our purpose. Whether you're new to human design or a seasoned explorer, there's something here for everyone. So, grab your favorite beverage, settle into something comfortable, and let's embark on this adventurous journey of self-discovery together. It's time that we all rediscover who we were born to be. What's happening, Soul Tribe? It's your host, Jimmy Jam, here bringing back more conversations on human design. So one of the things that I was super excited about recording today, or I was actually writing down the outline for today's episode, and I do this one because I, again, do not have a defined throat. And I just want to make sure that my notes in my mind and all of these things keep up. So I was writing down the outline for the episode and then realized I wrote down my outline for the episode coming out in a couple of weeks rather than the one that was actually been put away. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to get a bunch of work done. So I should have a bunch of energy to get a lot of different things done today. So I'm super excited about that. But I'm also, again, super excited to bring you more, human design content. So, within the context of human design, you really talk a lot about how we're all different, right? The design of human design is all about the science of differentiation, right? Recognizing how we're all uniquely different in this world, how we interact with other people. And today we're going to be diving into a topic that just further solidifies, right, why, how, and it deals with our decision making. So in human design, we really talk a lot about honoring your strategy and your authority. You might hear this if I doubt that I'm the first person that you are exposed to in terms of human design, or again, this just might be a revisit. You might be new, you might be old, whatever the case may be. But you might hear a lot about people saying, okay, honor your strategy, follow your authority. Honor your strategy, honor your authority. What they're really talking about is working through or being mindful about how you feel when you are approaching resistance, right? So previous episodes talked a lot about the human design types and their new strategy, right? Wait for the invitation, wait to respond, wait a lunar cycle, inform, right? But when we talk about making decisions that are aligned with you, we're talking about your specific authority. So we all have a very different authority that we must use in order to make aligned decisions for us. There might be two projectors who, again, your strategy for both projectors are wait to be recognized and then invited, but their authority, how they make decisions might be very, very different. You might have one projector who is here to allow themselves to wait for their emotions to subside. You might have projector who can make instinctual decisions, right? So we're going to be diving into this. So your authority is really based on what centers in your body graph are defined. And so if you want, you can pause this if you're listening to this while you are working around the home or whatever, or pause this if you want to come back to this, or you might know this information and this might be a refresher, but you really want to have your body graph pulled up with you. So you can go over to mybodygraph.com, plug in your correct information, and it will obviously pull up your birth chart, your human design chart, or your body graphs. And in human design, there is a hierarchy in terms of figuring out which authority is yours, right? So again, your authority is based on what centers in your body graph are defined, but in terms of if you have two or three of them that would otherwise have a specific authority assigned to it, there's hierarchy in terms of, all right, what's the, which one do I follow? So the first five authorities that I'm going to read are specific to individual centers and the body graph. The last two that I'm going to read are in relation to external things, right? And when I go in order, I am reading them in order of their hierarchy. So if you look at your body graph and you have to the right of you at the bottom, the triangle that is facing sort of towards the center of the body graph, that's your solar plexus. If you have that defined, you are an individual that is described as having emotional authority, right? If that particular center is not colored in, but the one right next to it in the bottom middle, so you're looking two from the bottom, but right in the middle, that's the sacral center. If that's defined, you are someone that's considered to have sacral authority, right? If to the left of the sacral center where the spleen is, if that's colored in, you are someone that is described as having splenic authority. The heart center, if that's defined, you are someone that has ego authority. If you have the G center, with the diamond in the middle of a body graph, if you have that defined, you are someone that has self-authority. If you look at your body graph and you see no colored centers below the throat, like you might have one to three above defined, head, eyes, or throat, or some combination of it, but nothing below the throat, you are someone that has no inner authority, meaning it's not specific to your body. You're relying on the environment. So it's called sort of environment. I say environment authority, but no, you have no inner authority. And obviously, what is specific and unique to reflectors are the fact that they have no definition in their body graph. Therefore, their authority is a lunar authority. They must make decisions based on the positions of the moon. So I was going to start going in and saying where each of these centers are located. Hopefully you know that. If not, you can go back to my previous episode on the defined centers. I literally say which one is which. We're going to keep moving through. So now I'm going to go basically back over from the top and talk about each of the specific centers, their authority, and tell you a little bit about how that works. Okay. So if you are someone that has emotional authority, that means your spleen, I'm sorry, that means your solar plexus is colored in, your solar plexus is defined. That solar plexus or emotional authority is at the top of the hierarchy. If you have it colored in, you automatically have emotional authority. Then, if you have your solar plexus defined, you automatically have emotional authority. For those that have emotional authority, there is really, really no decisions you should be making in the now. There is no truth in the now. Your emotions, you will experience emotional waves, highs and lows. And when you are making decisions from those places, it is typically you find yourself saying, basically, like, I shouldn't have done that, right? Like, or it ends up not working out in your favor. And so, if you have emotional authority, there is no truth for you in the now. It is super important that you allow as much time to pass as possible. Obviously, the pressure that you're going to be experiencing is coming from the external world around you, right? If someone is, involved in a decision with you and you're like, hey, I need to give myself time to allow my emotions to go through their high and their low. I'm not sure I can give you a answer right now, right? That pressure that other people are applying on you might make you make a rush or rash decision. And so you want to wait for as much clarity to come as you can to give yourself, a probability or what's I said, more probability of having a clear picture. Obviously, there's no way you're going to be able to say I'm 100% neutral in the situation. That's not, it's not aligned with you. So allow yourself as much time as you can to allow your emotions to go from high and low. And in those moments of highs and lows, you're finding your truth. Right. So making decisions for emotional authority really tell you, wait, allow your emotional wave to settle, and then you might be able to find that moment of truth that works for you when you find clarity. Okay. The second authority, in terms of their hierarchy, again, is the sacral authority. So those who generators and manifesting generators, this is specific to you, obviously. If you look at your body graph and you can see any variation of this. You can see all the centers colored in except for the solar plexus. And you see that obviously next to that, you have a defined sacral center, but the only things that are not colored in are the solar plexus. You have sacral authority because sacral authority is sort of the second, right? So again, if you are a manifesting generator or generator, most likely scenario happen if you don't have emotional authorities that you have sacral authority. So for those with sacral authority, when people say trust your gut, you are literally the embodiment of that phrase, trust my gut, right? Trust your gut. Because your gut reaction is, as we talk about your strategy of ready to respond, right? That primal, uh-huh, uh-uh, that is literally what you were also checking in with if you are a generator or managing with sacral authority. You are listening and tuning into the body's sacral responses and sounds. So it's the truth for you is literally in that present moment, whether there's a uh-huh or an uh-uh. The words that are coming out of your mouth are not always guaranteed to be your truth. It's the cues, the sounds coming from the primal sacral center. Again, a lot of people talk about how the universe makes of you. When you feel really good about a decision to make, to eat something, or you really feel called to eat something, and you're like, I'm so excited about this thing, right? That is what you're looking for, similar to their strategy, right? Is making sure that sort of confirmation's there for your decision making. If there's a pause, a hesitancy, quietness, we'd like to say that a part of you is unsure in that particular moment. Remember, sacral authority, your truth is in the present moment. It's not in the future, right? It's not, your decision is not coming about, what's going to happen in the future. It's all about the present moment. So if there's a moment of silence or pause, it generally means, it really means give yourself more time and be asked again, right? Or keep that sort of request. And in that moment later on, if example, hey, do you want to go, for vacation? Do you want to go here versus there? Do you want to go here? You're like, right. Now that you sat on it, you're like, yes, then that usually means it's a dedicated for you. It's a good fit for you. So you really want to honor the sacral sounds. Is a yes. Is a no. Or pause or silence. It really is not right now. I actually told client this last week in our session. I was like, a lot of the things that you've been describing as far as like you feel very tired, but you feel like you don't have any energy to do anything. I was like, and you feel like I'm a generator. I should, should have all this energy to complete this assignment, to complete this task, to do this thing, right? And I'm like, well, no. I'm like, you weren't responding to that internally and it didn't feel good for you, you're not going to feel like you have all the energy, right? But if you're actually responding to a decision that's actually right for you, believe me, you'll have all the energy that you need in the tank. So moving on to third in terms of the order of hierarchy is the spleen. So if you have no defined sacral, no defined solar, but a defined spleen, you have splenic authority. For those who have splenic authority, this is really all about sort of an internal thought sense. And in human design language, a lot of people talk about it being almost like a whisper. I'm someone that has splenic authority. For me, it's the sensation of familiarity. Like I've recognized this before. Like it's almost like I've it's sometimes like I have deja vu. I'm like, oh wow, like I remember doing this type of feeling for me. But it is in the moment, instinctual, right then and there. And it happens so quickly. And for me, it's often overridden. It can be overridden if I don't follow through with it. It's overridden by doubt. The mind gets in the way. The mind's like, wait, what? Like, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And I'll share a little bit of the story. So this was about 2 years ago, right when I got into a program. In a moment where I was invited, I felt this really strong yes, like a hell yes, like it was there, right? Or like a whisper of a yes. And as time went on, a couple of days later, I was sort of asking myself again, should I do this thing, blah, blah, blah. And I just still didn't know. But I unfortunately was like, oh, Lord, committed to this thing. Like, you don't want to, you're going to confront people. You're going to let people down. What are they going to say if you back out? Right. And the mind got in the way. But then my fear of how I was going to make the other person potentially feel, that got in the way. So what it basically did was it overrode my intuition. And the moment I was in the space, I was like thinking all the time, I was like, I shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't be here. Right? Like, and if you are someone that has any defined sort of, you have a defined steam inside of you, I would believe you like, yeah, you might often find yourself saying, I knew it, because a little bit of that risk or that intuition is so that if you have one of the other authorities that are overriding, you still feel like, oh, I knew it. And so your splitting intuition, it may help change things for the better, or it might cause you might be in some suffering if you're not tuning and trusting it, right? Trust whatever is for you in the moment. And here's the nugget. You don't have to explain. I say that again. You don't have to explain to other people why you think or feel the way that you feel. I used to believe, oh my God, I have to say why I'm not doing this thing or why I don't want to do this thing. Let it go. It's not for you to explain. You're not going to be the answer. Next up, we're talking about ego authority. So again, this is connected to the defined heart. So again, if you have the defined heart, but you have no divine signal, no divine solar, no divine stain, but you have a divine heart, you have ego authority. So ego authority applies to either a projector or a manifester. A projector with ego authority, we sort of say you have projected authority, or another term is projected authority. The projector will often have their heart. It's not defined to their throat, but it is connected to their G center. So that person's authority, if you are a projector with ego authority, your authority is actually the same as the projector strategy of waiting for the invitation. So if you are, again, a projector that has a heart connected to the G center, but no other lower areas defined, you have ego authority, and your authority is actually following your strategy, which is waiting for the invitation. So when someone's presenting something to you, it's really important for you to ask yourself, this is so consistent if you have a defined heart center, is what is it, what is in this for me, right? What am I going to get out of this, right? What do I want from this situation? How does this actually benefit me? That is actually an aligned question for a person with a heart, a defined heart, right? And so if you are with an invitation, you're asking yourself this question, like, what am I going to get out of this? I actually feel I'm not going to get much out of this. I don't think I'm going to find any value in this. The answer would be no, don't make that decision. Because the heart is a motor sensor, it actually gives you access to energy. But this is a specifically unique energy because once you commit to something, even with a defined heart, once they commit to something, they have the energy and the need, if you will, to have to see that thing, right? So once you basically commit to that invitation and you're like, if we're going to do it, you have this consistent energy of making sure that you follow through with the tasks that you've agreed to do. Here's the downside to this, or the check to this, is you don't have a defined root solar. I'm sorry, you don't have a defined sacral center. You don't have a defined root center, right? So you're really pushing yourself with no energy beneath you to see the state through, which puts you at greater risk for heart-related issues, right? So make sure you can tap in with yourself and be able to ask yourself, what am I going to get from this situation? How's this going to benefit me? For those who are manifestors, who have the defined chart with no other definition in the first, three sensors, that your chart is connected to your root center, you are a manifestor with ego authority. Another word for that is manifested authority. I've seen a lot. And for you, when you are similar to the projector, the strategy, or the authority is the strategy. So the manifestor must inform in that literal moment, though, because you're speaking from a place of I, right? You're speaking from a place of what I need, I want, I'm going to benefit from, or not benefit from, right? So whatever it is that you're saying is literally consistent with what you should be doing, because you're going to be speaking your truth, right? So it's really best for someone, a manifestor with ego authority, to inform in the moment. I know that we talked about manifestors have some form, and you're basically telling people about the decision that you're getting ready to make, and that if there are other circumstances at play, you might really to inform, and all these different things, right? In this particular instance, you have to inform in that specific moment, and it might be very helpful for you to let people in your life know, hey, whenever there's a decision that needs to be made, I'm going to be talking to you, I'm going to be letting you know in that moment whether that's for me or not, and maybe we'll talk about it later, if it upset you or whatever. But again, the purpose of manifesting informing is not to relinquish control, it's just to let other people know what's going on behind the veil, right? And so it's interesting. I'm thinking about how, when I'm teaching communication skills and I'm like, okay, let's, create scripts. Some of my clients have, suffered from trauma, and, we're talking about creating some kind of a script to be able to communicate their needs to someone. There are certain instances where, and actually, I don't, unfortunately, those are clients sort of in a different field, so I don't have their, like, private information. But like when I'm like, oh, I'm teaching a skill, and my brain is thinking, oh my God, I'm hoping this person doesn't have the ego authority, because I'm basically telling them to make decisions after they weigh the pros and the cons, or writing out the communication stick. But that would actually be really bad practice for someone to manifest with ego authority. Again, because the mind will then try to override and try to control the voice, and that's just not consistent. We don't want that. But those who, beginning, once you jump or agree to do something and you have a defined heart, you keep run the risk of burning yourself out, because the lack of definition, those other motor centers and seducer centers. So really being mindful of following what you are saying, and for the projector, waiting for the invitation and asking questions. So next year, moving on to those with the defined G center only, without the heart, spleen, solar, and sacral. So those with the defined G, this is connected generally to the throat. So this person has sort of what we call self-projected authority. It is all about what you also say in the moment. Therapy would definitely be an amazing thing to do, and to go a place to be and go to, because a big part of therapist's job is really reflecting back what a lot of people say. And I find times when I'm communicating to clients, whether I'm doing a human design reading or I'm doing a therapy session, or running a group, once I'm reflecting back what people are saying to me, they're like, I didn't even know I said that, right? So I think there's sometimes a level of disconnect with what we say. We're like, I didn't even realize I said that. So it's really important for someone with a self-projected authority or defined G to really listen to your own voice, listen to your own guidance. The next area. So now we move out of the authorities related to the body, and now we're going to the two authorities that are related externally. And so we're going to talk about the first group, which is the projectors. So this is a very specific and unique subcategory of projector. This projector has an absolutely no definition below the throat, right? There might be the, third eye or the head center. Those two might be defined, and there might be no throat, and then nothing below the throat. It might be defined head, defined head center. Defined oxygen sensor, defined throat connected, but no defined head center. I'm sorry. For the projectors, there might be a defined throat connected to a defined oxygen, or a defined oxygen connected to a defined head, or an vaginal ahead and the port connected, but nothing below the throat center. You are a projector that has no inner authority. You are specifically tuning into the frequencies and the energy that you get through your environment. Okay. So for projector with environment or no inner authority, again, this is a rare configuration. You must allow your throat to feed off of the stimulus or the energy that you get based on the environment that you're in. So environment is absolutely everything for you. If you're in the wrong space with the wrong types of people who are making different decisions and making different choices and not some good choices, not some good decisions, right? And you are going to be making decisions that are wrong because you are basically amplifying off of their energy. And so having a healthy environment is absolutely critical for those who are, an no inner authority. Last, but certainly not least, in terms of the hierarchy of authority and for the sake of authority conversation, are our lovely reflectors. So reflectors, you have absolutely no definition in your beautiful body graph. It is so super special, so super unique, so super cool, so super awesome. And your authority is also the same as your strategy. So we have a couple of configurations where your strategy and your authority are one and the same in those instances. For the reflectors, you must wait 28 days for the moon to cycle through all of the 64 days. And again, it takes 30 days for the moon to do its cyclical thing throughout all of the gates. So you're gonna have different activations in your body graph. You're gonna tap into different gifts, energetically speaking. So and for you, it's also super important to be mindful of your environment. I have a friend who is a reflector. She's one of 3 reflectors I know, or one of 2 reflectors I know. Since jumping to human design, and when she's at a job, or she was at a job where it was a really bad environment for her, like she's like, it was really hard to make any decision because you're really just being swept up by the energy right now. Because again, you're a mirror for people, so reflect is far in the mirror. So if people are misaligned, you're not in their higher selves, and you're making decisions. So you're not self and all of these things. So it's just like mesh together, not well. But you must also allow yourself to talk. So talk through the different voices and the different identities and the different experiences that you're having throughout the different days, right? So having a trusted group of people who can provide as you can will be super helpful for a reflector as well as a self-projective ability projector in order to have a sounding board to make all of these decisions and choices. Okay? So I really hope that this was a recap, if you will, a refresher, if you will, if you were new or if you're new to human design. Again, you can go to mybodyback.com, put in your information, and keep learning and diving in. It can be helpful to get a reading, so you can email me at hello@alignedhd if that's something you will hope to do, if it's with your strategy and your authority. You can, one of the things I will say about mybodygraph.com, I love this, is now they have sort of a just now connection. So you can in real time plug in information. Obviously, your information will be plugged in arrays. You can select your body graph and see the version of your blueprint as the video record. You can also hit the just now connection. It'll actually bring up all the current transits, all the planets, and how they're highlighting different dates in your charts, and you'll see day to day how it looks, right? And some days you might have certain things highlighted and certain things, defined, undefined. And so it's really a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing that they've added to your so you can go to mypetagraph.com and play around with that. But continue to just dive into your strategy and your authority, right? So putting these two pieces together, you know, our minds, this cognitive brain of ours, our personality, you know, has believed it will be in the driver's seat, right? Making all the decisions in life. But now we're coming to find out that, actually our body, for those that have the definition below the throat, our bodies are actually making these decisions. Our bodies need to make these decisions for them to be more aligned, right? And that's going to be consistent for you. It's going to lead you to the right opportunities. It's going to lead you to the right people, the right places, the right relationships, right? So it's all connecting to understanding how your aura works, understanding how energy works, understanding your strategy, recognizing what your not self theme is, right? Knowing what your signature is for in this lifetime, and then learning to trust your authority. So, if you are a I just got so swept up. I'm like, did I even announce this? So honestly, if you're seeing this on your feed for the first time, you won't notice a difference. There are a couple of episodes in the past where I used the full name of my podcast, which was Somatic Human Design Podcast. I decided to change that over the last couple of months as I felt I really had to I was sort of, I won't say I was rushed through it, but the process in which I began was not honoring my system. I was right at that specific time to settle on specific things. But as I continued to do work on myself, I really recognized where I wanted to go and why things fell off and whatever. So I'm rebranding. So obviously, this is the Getting Aligned, a Human Design podcast with James Williams. That is the official name of my podcast, Getting Aligned, a human design podcast. And it is coinciding with the new name of my business, which is Aligned HD. It felt really good for me. It felt really consistent for me. It felt aligned with my choices and my goals and like how I, want to advertise myself and market myself and not be split and or put into a specific box and say, hey, we're interested in hanging you, which happens throughout the journey being a entrepreneur. There are moments where people ask me for support, but they only wanted to hear my opinions on certain things. And I'm like, well, I'm here to talk about human design. Why not we just want to talk about physical health, healing your body? And I'm like, all right, no, that's not for me. That's a no. That's instinctually no. So yeah, again, if you are listening, feel free to, if you want to subscribe, rate this episode or a episode, share if it really calls to you. It's fine. It means a lot to me. It makes me feel empowered to know that I'm, tapping into someone's ear or helping someone somehow, some way, even if it's a reminder of things you already know. Yeah, follow me on pretty much most platforms at Aligned HD. That is TikTok, Instagram, and the Reds right now. And we have some exciting things working on. I'm so freaking excited to see, oh my God, like where I take this in the coming months. But yes, we will be back in your feed. Please have a great, wonderful rest of the day. And honestly, have a great rest of the week. You are a freaking rock star.